Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And as you can see, we wake up this morning to a beautiful day here in Zakynthos. Just a little bit of cloud. I've got to be honest, you can probably just see the cloud just on the horizon looking towards Sillavi. We did have reports in the press that we were going to get thunderstorms and bad weather. However, at the moment, I don't think that's happening at the moment. It is passed us over. Although the lovely Amanda sent us her weather forecast this morning. And in it, she says, morning, Ginge. Today's weather, slight drop in temperatures, but still sunny and pleasant. Highs of 26, but will feel like 27. Have a great day. Right, cheers for that, my lovely. I'd certainly endeavour to have a great day. But as you're probably all aware, there's a lot of disappointment at the moment with what's been going on with Mr. Boris Johnson and his announcement yesterday. I'm going to come on to that in just a short while. But I think, first of all, let's just look at the arrivals we've got here to Zakynthos today down at the airport. First of all, we got one flight in from Romania today. We got 3 flights in from Hungary. We got 1 from the Czech Republic, 2 from Italy, 1 from Athens, obviously the shuttle flight. Only 1 flight in from Poland today. And we also have 1 flight in from Brussels as well. So there you go. That's the people who are turning up to play today. Anyway, COVID within the last 24 hours, that's not also looking as good as what it has been. If you remember yesterday, I'd reported to you the lowest ever COVID numbers in a long time at 297 new infections across the country. Well, that number has crept up to 472 new infections were recorded yesterday across Greece. That means the total amount of infections since the pandemic started is now 415,401. And as for arrivals into the country, 3 new cases were identified after checks into the country, and that was up from 2 on the previous day. Now, according to the national stats yesterday, they're not giving out the stats like they have been doing. However, the only locations I know that have been given numbers for infection at the moment is Thassos with 1, Santorini had 0, Kos had 5, Rhodes had 8. However, the Greek government did say on Monday that it had administered at least 6.8 million doses of COVID vaccine so far. But at the moment, there's been no reports again of any local infection here on Zakynthos. That still means at the moment, for the month of June, we've only had 5 cases reported here on the island for the month of June. In fact, no, that should be 6 cases because we have had 1 case positive, and I will come on to that in just a short while. Anyway, when it comes to deaths at the moment, deaths had dropped to 17 deaths on the previous report. Today, that has now gone up to 18 new deaths across the country, bringing the grand total at the moment of people who've passed away due to COVID to 12,443. The average age of those people, 79 years of age, 96% of those having underlying health problems, and they were also over the age of 70 as well. So the other interesting figure as well, when it comes to people in ICUs, now that number is down. I've got to be honest, that number has been dropping slowly. Critical cases in hospital at the moment, I did report to you 358. That number is now down to 253, of which 228 are male and 125 are female. Right, let's crack on to today's news then. This is a report that's been taken from the local press on their local reaction to Boris's announcement yesterday, and it goes as follows. Now, they said that tourism professionals are now looking to July with uncertainty, as many exceptions from Britain do not inspire optimism for a resumption of the market. Yesterday, Boris Johnson announced the postponement of the lifting of the lockdown for July 19th, with further limits, the possibility of travel from the United Kingdom to tourist destinations such as our country. Anyway, earlier in the day, the British government sanctions led TUI UK, which provides services to British citizens, to announce that it will be freezing travel until July the 11th in Britain due to the continuing uncertainty over the UK's policy for international travel. Anyway, the cancellations of the British Tourist Office also affect Greek destinations, especially Zakynthos, which is frozen at the moment till about June the 28th, and I think they're talking about EasyJet there. Also, Hania, which is in Crete, Calabria, Kefalonia, Mykonos, Prevasa, Samos, Santorini, Skiathos and Thessaloniki, which is going to be closed until July the 4th. Anyway, they also said that Britain is one of the main blood donors of Greek tourism. I like that, blood donors. The British market is very important for Greek tourism, and it covers 40% of revenues, and it is the second most important after Germany. According to the data from the Bank of Greece, our country attracts 3.5 million travellers in 2019, 1 million last year, which brought 2.5 billion and 749 million euros in receipts in 2019 and 2020 respectively. Britain's decision to cut travel abroad amid a new outbreak and to postpone the July 19 lockdown has created problems in a number of countries waiting for British tourists to boost their economies. Now, the Greek government concerns were government spokesman Aristotle Peloni was asked to comment on the June 5th on the British decision not to include Greece in the green list again, and she did not hide her concern. It's a conservative, tough decision which has provoked a reaction from British as well. He had commented and postponed the opening of the tourism season fully. Mitsotakis has also intervened with Boris Johnson. In fact, they met yesterday at a conference, the NATO conference. The possibility of losing July for the tourism season is also visible, and it's no coincidence that the Prime Minister Kyriakis Mitsotakis approached his counterpart Boris Johnson at the NATO summit. During the meeting, the Prime Minister informed Mr. Johnson about the positive epidemiology course of the country, which, in his opinion, allows the lifting of restrictions by the British government on visits of British tourists to Greece, while asking not to discriminate against European countries from visiting the United Kingdom. Anyway, he also said Britain is emerging as a weak link in Greek tourism, and the decision to extend the lockdown further narrows the boundaries for industry professionals who are talking about a formal start to the tourist season. Anyway, it's indicative that a letter was sent by SETI, that's the tourism ministry here, to the Minister of Finance and Labour. It notes that we are in mid-June, and due to the restrictions imposed during the COVID pandemic, tourism has only formally resumed since our main market, such as the UK, Russia and Scandinavia, remain closed. Now, I can say at the moment, the Scandinavian market is about to arrive. I know Jane's been very busy at the moment where she works. The Scandinavian reps are here. They are just getting organised for when they start operations, which will be coming up within the next week or so. So again, Scandinavians are set to arrive. The Russians, still no really strong word on the Russians at the moment. Nothing at the moment has been said formally in the press about when their arrivals are expected as well. Anyway, they also said the reservations are limited and remain unknown whether even these are transformed into real arrivals, since we do not know the intentions of the Scandinavia, Russia and also of the UK. However, they will not restart, and the conditions they've sort. I will say it again. We still don't know the intentions of the above markets nor the schedules and conditions that they will work. So again, this great disappointment. I could hear the heads drop yesterday when that announcement was made. Thank you to those people who were sending me messages as well about holiday plans that they'd had made. They were all being scuppered. Some people really at the end of their tether. They just want to get on holiday. They just want to get out of the country. They've done everything that's been asked of them. They've had the vaccine when they didn't want to have the vaccine. They stayed locked down. They've done everything that's been asked of them. Yet Boris can swan off and have his G7 conference in Cornwall. And I've got to laugh. I was watching some reports back on the G7 conference in Cornwall, and I tell you what, it did not go well for Britain, the outcome from that conference. I think Boris thought somehow Biden was going to kind of embrace him, and they did apologise for Trump's tenureship when America was being run by him. And I don't think Boris got anything out of that conference. I think, if anything, he just isolated himself more from those people doing business. And you've got to remember, there's another conference coming up. We've got the NATO conference at the moment, which Boris will go because obviously Britain is very important with NATO. However, there is a European conference coming up as well. And obviously, Boris is not invited to that European conference. And you get the feeling now that Biden wants to work more with Europe rather than with the UK. I think our little bit of glory in the sun with Trump has gone. It's business as usual. And interestingly, I saw this morning. Boris was given a bicycle by Joe Biden, a diplomatic present of a bicycle. And on that bicycle, on its frame, there was the Union flag of Great Britain. There was the American flag as well. And also on that frame, beside the American flag, was a flag of the EU. And I think the bicycle says it all. One, you're on your bike. Two, America and Europe are going to be sticking together more than they would be with the UK. So that's just me surmising that. We'll wait and see. But I think at the end, the long run, Boris, you're definitely going to be on your bike soon, mate, and you're definitely going to be gone. I think your Chancellor is going to be slipping into your job. And when the moment is right and it is convenient, you are going to be resigned to history as probably a bigger failure as a Prime Minister as that of Theresa May. And that's saying a lot, all right? I think you, mate, are finished, to be quite honest. And to be honest, I think people now have lost all respect for you. They let you get away with a few things over time, and they said, oh, that's just Boris, that's just Boris. But at the end of the day, you have not delivered the goods. You have let loads of people down. The fallout now is coming already. You're talking about another pandemic on the way with the Asian flu. Your Chancellor is now saying we can't afford to keep furlough going. We're going to have to get people back to work. We're going to have to get businesses turning and burning. We've got to find out who's still open for business once they get back, that their jobs are still there. So at the moment, I think, Boris, your days are numbered, and I shall now carry on. Anyway, just another story that came in yesterday evening. A German female tourist tested positive for coronavirus after undergoing a molecular test here in Zakynthos while she was getting ready to go back to Germany. Anyway, as soon as the test became positive, the necessary procedures for her transfer to the quarantine hotel was carried out straight away. Now, the German female tourist, together with another person with whom she had been holidaying with, the both of them now are going to be staying 14 days, all expenses paid, at the Kerry Hotel Spa and Resort for obviously that 14 days before then they'll be allowed to go back to Germany. So again, it'll be interesting to see how they enjoy themselves there. And I'll be interesting to see how many other people might be detected coming through, but at least it shows the system here is working. Anyway, also interestingly, a study by Greek Health Policy Institute undertaken last October found that 74% of Greeks were in favour of compulsory vaccination, while 62% of those interviewed stated that they would be applying to be vaccinated. Now, I'm looking at the date of that study. It was October last year. Would people's sympathies have changed since last year? Well, that's what I shall wait and see if there's a follow-up to that report before I make any decisions about being vaccinated. Interestingly, the Greek government announced yesterday that people aged between 18 to 24 will be eligible for their COVID-19 vaccinations as of Wednesday, tomorrow. That was announced yesterday. They said that they can start booking their COVID-19 appointments. The platform will be open. My advice to anybody wanting to get the vaccine, just go and see your local pharmacist. They will book you in and make all the necessary arrangements for you to have the vaccination at the two locations here on Zakynthos. Anyway, the 18 to 24 age group, they'll have access to the Pfizer and the Modern mRNA vaccines, and also to the single dose Johnson & Johnson. They will not be offered the AstraZeneca vaccines, which have been banned for younger ages by the National Vaccination Committee over clotting concerns. Anyway, the National Vaccination Committee has recommended the AstraZeneca vaccine should not be administered to people under the age of 60, and that they should be given the opportunity to choose one of the other three vaccines. As for people who have already received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine and already have an appointment for their second dose, the committee's suggestion does not apply to them. So whatever you got first time, you're going to get it second time. Anyway, according to the president of the National Vaccination Committee, Maria Theodoru, the recommendation was made due to the epidemiology picture of the country, which shows moderate to low dispensation rates. Until now, the AstraZeneca vaccine has been given to people over 30 years of age in Greece. The European Medicines Agency, the EMA, considers the AstraZeneca safe for all ages, but several EU member states have stopped giving it to people under certain ages, which usually ranges from 50 to 65 years, limiting its use among the elderly population. Meanwhile, on Monday, the Digital Governance Minister, Kyros Perikanis, said Greece had administered at least 6.8 million doses of the COVID vaccine so far. Speaking on Sky Radio, Perikakis said the country will open the vaccination platform for people aged between 18 and 24, and he said he expected that half of the Greek population will be inoculated by the end of summer. Anyway, another interesting story concerning the airport here in Zakynthos and also in Kefalonia. In the last few days, a total of 12 foreigners were arrested at the airport of Zakynthos and Kefalonia during passport control checks when they tried to board flights abroad illegally. In particular, Sunday night, at Zakynthos Airport, 11 foreigners were arrested by police of the security department here, who were using forged travel documents in an attempt to board a flight to Italy. On a similar case on Saturday morning at the airport in Kefalonia, police at the security department of Argostoli arrested one foreigner, was arrested who, using a fake travel documents, tried to board a flight illegally, again trying to get to Italy. Those that were arrested were then taken before the competent authorities in their locations. In other words, they went before the courts. Anyway, the repeated request that, this is a really big story, this next one. You may remember in 2018 there were some very, very serious forest fires here in Greece, which also resulted in the deaths of people as well. There's been an ongoing investigation into that fire, and this is a story regards that from yesterday. Now, it seems that the repeated requests for charges faced by the brigade, the fire brigade, and the civil protection officials over the management of the deadly fire in Mati in 2018 is to be upgraded from misdemeanors to felonies, and they have received a fresh boost with an Athens prosecutor's call for audio recordings which included threats by the ex-fire chief Vassili Mathopoulos against the investigator Dimitri Elinatis to be introduced into the court case. Now, Mathatus, the fire chief, is heard saying to the investigator, "If you write about the responsibilities of your superiors, we will all gather and tear you apart." Very strong language. Lithas was on the list of experts of the fire brigade and had been asked to undertake the investigation for Mati. Now, the fires at the time were the second deadliest wildfire event in the 21st century. Over 700 residents were evacuated or rescued, mainly from the seaside settlements located north of the port of a town of Rafina, namely in Konotino, Latmara, and also Mati, where rescuers found 26 corpses that of people who had been trapped just meters away from the sea. And I remember this very distinctly. The people were actually hugging each other. They'd obviously got lost in the smoke. They were trying to get to the sea, to get away from the fire. And basically they'd all sort of, as a group, come together and basically all just died basically in each other's arms. Now, 10 people also drowned when they were trying to escape the fire in a boat that was rescuing them when they were trying to escape from a hotel in the location in Mati, and that capsized and those people were drowned. More than 4,000 residents were also affected by the wildfire. The Prime Minister at the time, who was Mr. Tsipras, declared a state of emergency in Attica and announced a 3-day period of national mourning, stating in the television address that he gave to the country is going through an unspeakable tragedy. Now, in January of this year, Lipisso, that's the investigator, requested that the charges faced by the officials be upgraded from misdemeanors to felonies, citing that false reports were made regarding the mobilization of the air resources and the declaration of the region, and the declaration of the region in the state of emergency. So basically what they're trying to say is that the fighting of the fire was very badly handled. In fact, they felt it was criminally mishandled, and he obviously wants to raise the charges. And that's another little thing is to remember as well, especially in this time of the summer with the heat and everything else, is that if you light a barbecue somewhere, you create a fire, even though it's accidental, that is classed as arson here in Greece. And it doesn't give you a ticket to just walk away. I'm very sorry, I didn't mean that to happen. You could end up going to jail. So basically, I think what's happening is he's turning around and saying, just because you happen to be the senior fire chief, it doesn't let you off the hook. Because of mismanagement, whether it was his mismanagement or whether the people below him mismanaged the situation. At the end of the day, the fire chief is responsible for his people. And obviously this investigator wants to lay higher charges and not misdemeanor charges. And also notice the word ex-fire chief. So he's obviously retired or he's been put out to pasture. But obviously, this is a case that I think is going to be ongoing. And again, I shall keep a little eye on that story as well. And I remember seeing the television footage of that fire. And Jane and I at that time had only just driven along this road just a few weeks earlier. We'd gone up to Thessaloniki. Jane was doing some health and safety work on villas up there. And we actually drove along some of those roads. And I tell you what, the scale of it was mind-boggling as to what happened. So again, we fingers crossed we don't have problems like that here this year. But again, at the end of the day, I should keep an eye on that story because again, it is of a national interest. Anyway, and finally, a mixed story. And finally, Stefan Tsitsipas, remember yesterday, the tennis player, he's actually pulled out of the Wimbledon warm-up event, which takes place in Germany. He said on Monday, because of personal reasons, because his maternal grandmother passed away, he just felt that he had to get away and basically mourn her passing. And he'd actually been given a wild card to take part in that tournament, which would basically mean you get the opportunity to maybe go ahead and play in Wimbledon. So he's actually turned down the opportunity to go and play in that tournament in Germany. And he wrote something very touching. The 22-year-old revealed in an emotional social media post on Monday that he had learned of the death of his mother only 5 minutes before he went into the French Open final. 5 minutes before entering the court, my very beloved grandmother lost her battle for life, he said. A wise woman whose faith in life and willingness to give and provide can be compared to any other human being that I have ever met. It's important to have more people like her in this world because people like her make you come alive and they make you dream. Tsitsipas also Sunday put his defeat in perspective. He said, life isn't about winning or losing. It's about enjoying every single moment in life, whether that's alone or with others. He also said, it's about living a meaningful life without misery and agitation. Lifting trophies and celebrating wins is something, but it's not everything. What a nice bloke. I think he sounds like a lovely fella. Right, so that's it for the news for today. I can see already there's people waving in and looking in. I'm going to see if I can read some of the comments at the moment. I've got to be honest, my tablet doesn't always let me do that. Big shout out to Alfling, also Amanda Gregory, Christine Brown. Amanda says good morning. Elsa Hales says hello. Amanda, Elsa Hales, Christine Brown. Oh, it's doing it again. I have seen some big comments down there and I'm desperately trying to get down to those comments. Steve Hinkling says it's lovely this morning. Is that here or where you are, fella, over there in Stoke-on-Trent? Tracy Mitchell says, morning, Ginge. So much for Boris. Update, so much for Boris's update last night. Made you laugh. We can't go on holiday, but they asked us all, we were all okay to come down here for the G7 with no masks on. Yeah, this is the madness, isn't it? You weren't allowed to come here, but you could go down to the G7 where all the world leaders were, all on that beach having that, what I can only describe as one of the most pathetic barbecues I think I'd ever seen in my life. Boris was like a kid at a birthday party, like he's the centre of attention and all the other cool kids are just sort of like just paying lip service to him being there. Knowing that they're going to disappear away at the end of the party and go somewhere else with the company of cool people who will discuss what really matters and what goes on while Boris, the petulant child, is sent up to bed by his mother, although his mother isn't in the picture, and thinking in his head, oh, what a fantastic time I've had with my friends, which, to be honest, I don't think they are your friends, mate, and you're going to get a sad awakening. Also, Amanda Gregory says, had my restart back to work put back thanks to Boris. More cancellations at the hotel. Oh, bless you. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about it. It means well, look at it as a bonus for me. I still get my weather. Bless you. So anyway, but yeah, see, that's the other thing that I think a lot of people looking in don't realise is that we had, people's jobs were put on hold, waiting for this announcement initially in June. And once that announcement was made in June, people were then let go because obviously you're not coming yet. So obviously this second announcement again, hotels are rethinking what they're going to do, reorganising, and people who should have gone back to work have been told, don't bother, wait it out longer. To be honest, I'm in the same situation, really. Although the music ban has been lifted and everything else, we just don't have the bodies on the street to warrant me going back to work. And if you're running a business, and I can understand that, at the moment you're trying to keep your costs down, you're trying to get your business to survive, and I completely understand that. I completely get where it's coming from, and until the Brits turn up, then obviously I'm still going to be doing podcasts here, doing my 2 shows on Beats Radio, my 1 show a week into Magdalena's from the house, and maybe my requests and inspirations on a Friday. That's all I can do until the decision is made. So again, I'm not the only one. There's many other people in the same position, and a lot of other people who are probably financially worse off than me, who are just praying to get back to work, to get some work, and to obviously make some money as well. Anyway, a big shout out to Sam Curtis. He says, morning Ginge from another sunny warm day here in Brighton. And that's not going to help, is it? Having nice weather in England means obviously everybody's going to go and spend all their money in the UK, re-stimulating your economy rather than ours. Maybe that was Boris's plan all along. He's obviously re-stimulated the income down there in Cornwall for a little bit. But will they be wanting independence? That's the next thing. Will they want to break away? Because that was an ongoing thing with Cornwall and about getting its own independence. I'm just having a look, see if there's any other little messages from anybody else. Cy Grinley is watching. Nice to see you tuning in, Sty. Stacey Jackson as well. Tracy M. What is it? Oh, I've lost that one as well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Just to let, Amanda says rooms only being booked to 3 days. Then they checked out. Not enough money to run the hotel on full staff. Bless for that. So there you go. That's the fallout. That's the reality. Nobody coming over and people having to either close up shop on their business, get rid of staff, and shut things down. Okay, but anyway, we'll wait and see. Anyway, you know, one young lady who's probably having a nice time down there at the Kerry Spa, tested positive, straight down to the Kerry Resort and Spa for 14 days, all expenses paid. Not like if you test positive in the UK, you're in a travel lodge somewhere on the outskirts of Windsor or at Heathrow Airport. That's where you'll end up there. Oh, and you'll pay for it yourself. So, Greece, generous as ever, generous as ever. Right, that's it from me. Just to remind you, my Dance Anthem show went up online yesterday. So please have a watch of it on Mixcloud. I thought it was a banging good show, to be quite honest. Also as well, today I'm making my Northern Soul show today ready for broadcasting at the weekend. Yesterday I made my Dance Anthem show ready for broadcast at the weekend. So busy day for me, sorting out stuff, broadcasting stuff, getting organised. And obviously I might be out and about this morning quickly just to check on a few people, see how things are going. But once again, on YouTube, please like and subscribe to that channel. I'm just trying to make that little channel grow. And once again, thank you for your support and thank you for your comments in the morning as well. That's it from me. I'll catch you later. You take care. You have a great day and I'll keep my ear to the ground. Ta-ra.